Welcome to In the Goal here on the SFBN, the one and only network covering boys and girls soccer, high school soccer from around the state of Pennsylvania. We've got a great show for you, breaking down some recent action and looking into the future. Stay tuned. Welcome back to In the Goal. I'm your host, Stephen Schreiber. We've got a great show for you tonight. I'm joined by always Jack Kapp and our special guest back for his second show, Joe Fite. Fellas, how you doing tonight?
Looking forward to the show, talk about all the high school soccer in the area, doing well.
It's great to be back. We're getting near the playoffs, and this is the time of year that we all wait for.
Joe, it was a pleasure having you on 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, Ryan is unable to join us here tonight, so we're going to get started now. We're going to start with District 1 power rankings, and we're going to do something a little different tonight. We're going to start with the girls. Ladies first, as they always say. Ladies power rankings, District 1, what do you have for me?
Okay, so you want to take the top, Joe?
Sure. Number 1, we have Owen J. Roberts. And should we go with that list?
Yeah, well, I have, no, it may have been updated. I think.
Yeah, this is the updated list.
So, yeah, Owen J. Roberts jumped to number 1. Pensbury had been number 1.
Always conflicting information out there. You know, if you don't get the update right away.
This is updated almost hourly.
Really?
Yes,
sometimes we'll get information from a week ago. We won't be able to get anything for weeks. This is wonderful getting it.
Yeah, the power rankings are updated constantly for the good districts. Mm-hmm. District 1, obviously, one of the top districts. So they're right on top of it.
Right.
And if there should be any error whatsoever, they fix it up. So it'll say up on the top there at 11:07 p.m. at 2:15 p.m. or 11:07 a.m. I'm sorry, and that type of thing. So right now, Owen J. Roberts jumped to number 1.
Right, and then we have Conestoga at number 2. Penridge is at number 3. Pensbury number 4. Unionville number 5. Council Rock South has slipped down to number 6. Springford number 7. Upper Dublin with a 15-1-1 record is at number 8. Souderton number 9. Central Bucks South is 10th at 10-4-3. Central Bucks East is number 11. Haverford High, number 12. Westchester Ruston, number 13. Downingtown East, 14th. Neshaminy, who's in danger of slipping out of the top 24, is now at number 15. Quakertown is at 16. Westchester Henderson, 17. Great Valley, number 18. Lower Merion, number 19. Downingtown West is number 20. William Tennant has had a tough week. They're down to number 21. Strathaven, number 22. Plymouth Whitemarsh at number 23. And Harriton rounds out the top 24 at number 24.
And they take 24 teams. This is the 4A. So these are the big schools. 24 district qualifiers.
Correct.
Is that correct, Joe?
That is, that are a lot of teams there.
Because there are so many teams in District 1 and 24 qualify for the districts, 5 come out of there for the PIAA state tournament.
Really?
Yeah, so it's the most in the state for that.
So teams that are on the bubble would be Perkiomen Valley, Springfield Delco, and Council Rock North. Mm-hmm. So that's your 4A power rankings. 3A, the top 12 in the 3A classification make it to the District 1 tournament. And as of this morning, and they've been in the number 1 spot most of the season, if not all of the season. Villa Joseph Marie. Pencrest is in at number 2. Pope John Paul II is number 3. Mm-hmm. Lower Moreland having an exceptional season. They're at number 4. Villa Maria is at number 5. Mount St. Joe's is number 6. Phoenixville, number 7. Nazareth Academy, number 8. Radnor, number 9. Sun Valley, number 10. Gwynedd Mercy jumped up to number 11 after beating Nazareth Academy yesterday. And Upper Perkiomen is at number 12.
So, Joe, you were at the Gwynedd Mercy Nazareth game. What did you see out there?
Well, I saw a team that grew in confidence as the game went on. They have a young team this year, but
This is Gwynedd now.
Gwynedd Mercy.
Yeah, Gwynedd Mercy, right.
And Aaron Mealy scored the first goal of the game. Just put it right inside the right post, and then she scored. That's right. She scored the first goal of the game. Her sister,
Right?
Maddie, had a goal disallowed that went off her body, and they called a handball. But then 3 minutes later, Aaron, got broke the ice with the goal, and later on in the second half, Samantha Burish, a freshman, making her first varsity start.
Wow. What a moment for her.
It was incredible.
She scored?
She scored off an assist from Maddie Mealy. Samantha was injured during tryouts, was put on JV, and
worked her way up.
They brought her up to varsity, and she made her first start yesterday and scored a goal.
She jumped right in and scored a big goal.
Yes, she did.
So Gwynedd Mercy is in the Catholic Academy League,
Correct.
as is Nazareth, obviously.
Right. There are a lot of Catholic Academy teams
always
in
well
that
coached,
in that top 12.
Yeah. Mount St. Joseph's, right?
Mount St. Joe's, Villa Joseph Marie,
Joe Marie, right?
Villa Maria.
I always got those two confused.
You've got half of the, and what's confusing even more so is you got Villa Maria from District 10,
That's right, there's two of them, that's right.
who Villa Joe played twice for the state championship. They beat him the first time, lost the second time.
Battle of the Village.
The victors, they are.
They're the victors.
there's
What
a-
is Villa Joe Marie?
They are the gems.
That's right, the Gems. Gems.
Right.
Yeah. Always great soccer, Villa Joe Marie.
There's a
Holland
Villa
Road.
Victoria in New Jersey.
That's right, Villa
So
Victoria.
just
There's a
add
lot of villas
add
around.
Yeah, all the villas.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, as I said, Villa Joe Marie, I rep them for years. They're
Yeah.
always high quality.
Always,
high quality
always
soccer.
good.
So we're gonna move on, right?
Yeah,
So
we're gonna move on to the boys' side of the power rankings.
Say with the big schools.
You say, yeah, we're gonna focus on the big schools for now.
So we got the boys in District 1, and
Yep.
guess who's on top?
Conestoga would be
a
my
very good
guess.
guess. Excellent
They've been on top of not only the state but pretty close to the nation all season long.
They were
so-
number one in the nation for a
Right.
couple of weeks, as we've noted previously. Conestoga undefeated, has one tie.
Yeah.
Conestoga did beat Lower Merion
Yep.
just the other day. I
Yeah.
guess it was yesterday, possibly. I think.
And that's Lower
2-0,
Merion.
I think was the score.
Yeah, and that's Lower Marion's only loss on the
Lower
season.
Marion's only loss, and Lower Merion was tied with them, and they were very good.
Yep.
I wish I was at that game, but I was away on vacation, couldn't get to it.
Mm-hmm.
North Penn follows up in the third slot. Hatboro Horsham coming in 4, Central Bucks West, Springford, W.C. Henderson, which is Westchester Henderson.
Yep.
By the way, that was the only team that beat Conestoga last year.
Really?
And went to the semifinal. Westchester Henderson lost in the state semifinal. Very good program
Right.
there. Central Bucks East follows them. Unionville, Wissahickon,
Wissahickon?
one of your favorites.
Oh
right?
yeah, oh absolutely.
Right, and Upper Dublin. Both boys and girls are excellent at Upper Dublin. Perkiomen Valley, Penwood, Plymouth White Marsh, and Kennett finish out the top 15 in the 4A. Now we're speaking of.
Yep.
Now again, there are 24 teams that make the 4A
Right.
tournament, just like in the girls. They're identical.
What teams are on the bubble for the 20 at the
Okay,
right
if we
at the
go
edge?
down towards the bottom, you're going to see Downingtown West just
Right.
floating in at that bubble there. Methacton, probably CRN, Castle Rock North, and WC East, which is Westchester East.
Right.
Yeah, there's
So
several
the-
Westchester schools.
So they're on the inside. What
Yes.
team? I don't know how well you know District 1, but which teams on the outside right now could make a push to get into the
Well,
tournament?
there's several teams. Haverford, Westchester Ruston, which is Bayard Ruston School,
Right.
named after a famous civil rights leader. Boyertown, William Tennant. Council Rock South is hanging in there. I mean,
Right.
these teams probably will not make it, but it's possible that within this last week, one of them could
Right.
work their way up into the top 24.
Yep.
Now, again, 24 teams make the district, 5 make the states.
Right. And let's move on to the 3A schools on the boys'
let's look
side.
at the 3A boys.
If we have it. Do we
Yeah,
have
we have it.
We have
Sure, we have everything.
Oh,
Steve. Yeah.
we have everything.
We come prepared.
That's what I like to hear.
Yes. So anyway, Holy Ghost, which has been on top all year. Holy Ghost, I got to see them play against Archbishop Ryan,
Yep.
and they are very good. They beat Ryan, I think it was 3-1, if I remember correctly. Ryan held in there for a while. It was a 1-1 game.
And at the end of the game,
they were the stronger team that day, but they also played St. Benedict's, which has been
the number
one team in the nation for now 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
Wow.
And they just barely lost to St. Benedict's. So
Right.
we're talking about a Holy Ghost program that is very, very good. I think they're called the Firebirds, Joe.
They are
right.
They are the Firebirds.
Sometimes it's hard to remember the mascot name, but the Firebirds, Holy Ghost, always putting out a good product. Followed by Bishop Shanahan, Phoenixville, Radnor, Harriton, Upper Merion, Pottsgrove, Octorara. I hope I say that correctly. Octorara.
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 Yeah.
Okay. And Pope John Paul II.
Right.
Is number 9, and Marple Newtown. Pope John Paul II, obviously the newest school of all of those top 10. But those are the top 10. 9 go to the districts.
Okay.
Top team gets a bye, I would guess. Right? Is that the way it works?
I
Joe?
believe in 3A, the top 4 get buys.
Oh, is that right? Okay. And then 2 PIAA qualifiers.
Yep.
So out of those, all those teams we just mentioned, 2 get to play in the state tournament.
Okay. Well, we're gonna move on for the power rankings, but we're gonna stay in District 1, and we're gonna look at Upper Dublin, and we're gonna move to the girls' side here, and we're gonna start in the national division. Council Rock South, a team we've talked about leading the division the whole season, still at top. I think they're gonna finish the regular season's over in Suburban 1, right?
No, it's still going.
It's still going.
Trickling in. The scores are still trickling in.
And
Yeah.
the thing is, with Council Rock South, they lost their first league game the other day to Neshaminy.
Right.
Neshaminy beat them
1-0.
1-0.
Yeah.
And
1-0.
watch out for Neshaminy. They beat Archbishop Wood 3-0. And they're coming on right at the right time of the season.
Right.
Now, Pennsbury has a game left with Truman. Actually, that game was yesterday, and I'm not sure what that score was, but Pennsbury has a chance to tie for the division championship.
Right.
And they've won 4 in a row. The senior class coming through Pennsbury this year has won the national conference every single year.
Pennsbury beat Harry Truman 8-0.
Okay.
So
And Truman's on the bottom.
yes, they are. Just to talk about the standings, CR South at the top, 10-1-1. Pennsbury also 10-1-1. So tied with 31 points at the top. Not sure what the breakdown will be. Neshaminy right behind them, 8-3-1.
Right.
As you said, coming on, very strong team. And then there's a bit of a fall off to Council Rock North at 5-5-1. So, that's a big loss for Council Rock South to close the season. A team that hadn't lost in division.
Right, yeah.
You kind of want to get that loss out of the way earlier, rather. But,
Now, Pennsbury plays Council Rock North tomorrow.
yes.
Did I get that right? Yeah, tomorrow, Friday, Pennsbury plays CRN, and CBE plays Upper Dublin. If we want to move down to the American, we'll talk
Right.
about them in a minute.
We
Those
will.
are the 2 big games coming up tomorrow.
So if Pennsbury beats Council Rock North, they'll tie Council Rock South for the division championship.
Right. Well, we're going to move on to the Continental. There we go. Couldn't get it out of my mouth.
That's all
and
right.
Penridge is leading the way with 26 points, 8-2-2 overall record, followed very closely by Souderton, 8-4 overall, followed by, and then Central Buck South is right on their tail, 7-3-2. And then there's a bit of a drop off to Central Bucks East, 5-4-3 with 18 points. So a lot of action right at the top in the Continental, very similar to the National. Some good play all the way around.
And the thing about that division is those teams keep knocking each other off.
Right.
Central Bucks West is down near the bottom of the conference, and they're picking. They knocked off. I believe. I'm not sure who they knocked off, but
But they got a big victory.
yeah,
I don't want to say who, but
Yeah.
they're all not knocking each other off, which probably in the long run is going to be a good thing because they're battle tested when they get into the districts.
Right.
Yeah.
They may go up against a Boyertown or somebody like that, and it's no big deal to them.
Yeah.
Because they've already been through the rigors of a tough schedule.
It's always good, to get your teams in those situations where they play against, tough teams.
And that's why the National Conference teams are always, very, very good in state tournament play. They're used to playing the best teams in the state in their own conference.
That's right. Yeah. And they play some out-of-league games, too.
Cumberland Valley.
Cumberland Valley is very strong, yeah.
Well, moving on to the American Division, undefeated in division, Upper Dublin, 14-0, has a very strong lead over Quakertown, who's also had a strong season, 11-3 overall, nothing to be ashamed about there. But if it was, 33 points would be enough to lead every other division. Right now, they are behind Upper Dublin. Horsham and Plymouth Whitemarsh are both 9-5, rounding out that top four, really the four strong teams in that division. Upper Dublin, though, just had a tremendous season so far.
Yes, they really have. They're undefeated in league play, and overall they've lost one, tied one. Not sure who that was against, but whoever it was, I'm sure Upper Dublin gave them a good game.
Oh, I'm sure. I am sure.
Yeah, this is a big time program at Upper Dublin, and they take their soccer very seriously on the girls' side there, Joe.
They always have.
They always have. I remember when I was an official and I used to go there, and it was, you had to be on your toes when you were at Upper Dublin, as always, but still, especially at the good schools where there were high quality players and coaching.
Right.
So, yeah. So and Q-Town, right behind him, Happer, Horsham, and PW have played all season.
Have fought each
very
other.
Well. They've fought each other, and the three of them are they're right in lockstep there, 9-3. 11-3.
And the thing is, Happer, Horsham, PW, and Wissahickon probably do not make the district tournament field.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. They're right on the edge. We're going to move on to the boys' side, starting with the National Division, and it's CR North, Council Rock North, 10-1-1 overall. Right behind them is Abington and Pennsbury, 8-4 overall. And that really rounds out the top of the division. Council Rock South is 5-6-1. Not really a threat to Abington or Pennsbury for third place. But what's kind of surprising here, Council Rock North 10-1-1 in division. Outside, they are 11-6-1 overall. So they've only won one game out of their division, which is, for a division leader, has to be kind of nerve-wracking. They could have played very good competition, but it is very surprising so far.
Yeah, well, obviously, the best team in that division has been Council Rock North all season. The only really time they were tested, I guess, within the division was against their counterparts, Council Rock South.
Right.
Is that the Golden Eagles? No.
The Golden Hawks.
Golden Hawks, that's right. Hawks. I knew it was Golden something. Okay. All right. The Golden Hawks, and so Council Rock North is 10-1-1. Excellent record, 31 points, as you mentioned. Abington, I know they had a player, Burstein, that was injured earlier in the season, and that kind of hurt them a little bit. He was supposed to be a scorer and just a young player. I think he's a sophomore. Pennsbury's right after them, and Council Rock South. But that's a great division, national division.
It is.
Producing really good soccer coming out of this area. Yeah.
Moving on to the Continental Division, North Penn leads the way. 30 points. Right behind them, though, is CB East and CB West at 9-3, 27 points apiece. They're right on their heels, one win away from tying it up. Just one game back on North Penn. But again, we see this separation between the top three teams, much like the National Division and the rest of the conference. No threat from William Tennant, who's sitting at fourth place. They only have 16 points, 5-6-1 overall. Not a threat to take that third place away from.
No, there's definitely a double tier here, without question. A top tier and a second tier.
Yeah.
And 10-2 for North Penn right now on top, and as you said, Central Bucks East, Central Bucks West right after them, and then it drops off very quickly.
So, a big 11-point difference.
A big difference, yeah. So those top three teams are going to get opportunities to move on.
Well.
And then we have the American Division.
Yes, and the American Division is, there's definitely two tiers, but in this case it is four teams. Happer Horsham leading the way, 11-2-1 overall, 34 points, right on their tail. Wissahickon, 10-2-2 overall, 32 points. Upper Dublin right there, 10-3-1, 31 points. And Plymouth Whitemarsh, 10-4-0, 30 points. And then there's a very, very large drop off to Springfield, 4-7-3.
And those are obviously the four best teams in that division and have been all season.
Yeah.
We've talked about them before. They've kind of bounced against each other all season, and that's the way it's been going in the American division. Happer, Horsham, I saw a little bit of them earlier on.
Yeah.
Really tough.
Yeah.
Really tough. Great defense, and the other teams are equally as good. So any one of those teams can come out of this, depending on where they fall into the district playoffs.
What are some big games on the boys' side that we have to look forward
Let's see
to?
what we have coming up.
I mean, this can be for all divisions. It doesn't just have to be in the American.
Right, we have a non-league game, which is always interesting. A little crossover game. CB South is being played right now against Conestoga.
Yeah.
That should be interesting. CB South, not one of the better teams here. Probably will go down against Conestoga, but it's an interesting game.
Yep.
Upper Dublin is playing North Penn today. So Upper Dublin against North Penn. North Penn coming out of the Continental. Upper Dublin coming out of the American, I believe. Do I have that right?
North Penn.
Right?
Yep.
And then, let's see, tomorrow we have CB East, a non-league game versus Westchester Henderson.
Right.
We talked about them a little earlier, how good they were last year and almost as good this year, Westchester Henderson it is. So CB East on top of the Continental there, or second place, should have a tough assignment against Westchester Henderson.
Yeah.
Those are some big games coming up. And then the season's over.
Yeah.
And we move into the playoffs.
Right.
District playoffs start on the 24th for the 4A and the 3A, the 25th for the single A, and November 1st for the 2A, which goes directly into a semifinal. They don't have the preliminary rounds.
All right, well, we're going to move on to District 3 girls side here. We're going to start with the power rankings for the District 3 girls.
Okay.
Kapp, what do you got for me on this?
Okay, so we're looking at the District 3 power rankings. I'll share this with Joe here. And we're looking at single A, Fairfield. So we're out in District 3. So just to remind our audience, it's out west of Philadelphia, about 100 miles, actually, somewhere between, let's say, 50 miles and 125 miles west of Philadelphia, central part of the state, the south part of the state there. Fairfield is number 1 in the single A. We're talking about the girls now. Harrisburg Christian, Camp Hill, Mount Calvary, Millersburg. I'll just go through the first 5 in each classification. I'm going to take double A. Are you able to read my writing?
Okay, double A, we have Boiling Springs, Schuylkill Valley,
Right.
DeLone Catholic, Trinity, which is a very, very traditionally strong girls soccer program, and Pequea Valley.
Interestingly enough, I was there yesterday.
Wow.
I was right in that area, and I said, what's that closest high school? I went to a dinner theater, and they said, there it is.
It's out near Lancaster.
I think it's Pequea, I don't know how to say it.
Pequea Valley.
Pequea Valley, and that's where I was, and they're number 5. Trinity's number 4 in the double A. Now, Trinity is the 3-time consecutive state champion, and I believe they've been in 4 or 5 consecutive championships. They
I
lost
believe
2
you're correct.
and won 3, I think is the story. But Trinity's down a little bit this year. They're kind of being outplayed by their buddies over there in East Pennsboro. So we move on to the AAA, and Fleetwood is number 1. Fleetwood is a team I'm not that familiar with.
Right.
Do you know anything about them? Have you heard of them?
I don't.
Okay. We see their names coming up in the state playoffs every year or so, but we just don't know them that well. Obviously, they're a quality program. And then followed by East Pennsboro, which is undefeated and basically has been killing all year. I think they've let up 2 goals, maybe 3 goals the entire season. I forget the exact number. North York, Lower Dauphin, the distaff side of Lower Dauphin, the ladies side. Lower Dauphin boys are very, very good. And then is it East Lebanon City, I believe?
County,
right. East Lebanon County High School. And that's part of the Lancaster Lebanon League, coming in at 16-1-1, and they're number 5. So now we move to the 4A in Cumberland Valley. We mentioned them just a minute or so.
Yeah, they beat Neshaminy in a preseason game beginning of the year. I think it might have been 2-1, 3-1.
Cumberland Valley, very highly rated. Obviously, number 1 in the power rankings, 17-0-0.
Wow.
Have not lost or been tied. So looking forward to seeing them somewhere. Central Dauphin is next. Conestoga Valley, not to be confused with
Conestoga.
2 different high schools. Manheim Township, and that's right next door to Pequot Valley there, right in that same area. And Wilson is the 5th team in the Quad A for the girls.
Right on the outskirts of Reading.
Is that where that is?
Yes, it is.
Wilson, so that's part of the, what would that league be called? I can't remember, but it's up in Reading. Yeah. So those are the 5 top teams in the Quad A.
Right. Yeah. And we're gonna stay in District 3 with the girls, and we're gonna look at the Mid-Penn Conference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, you got them right in front of you.
Yeah.
So what teams have really stood out to you?
Well, we just talked a moment ago about East Pennsboro, and obviously they're the top team. Mm-hmm. Trinity, of course, the 3-time defending champions. This is the Capital Division of the Mid-Penn Conference. Mm-hmm. Mid-Penn Conference is all around the Harrisburg area.
Right.
Okay. All part of District 3. And so Bishop McDevitt is up there. Bishop McDevitt coming in actually 2nd place above Trinity. Mm-hmm. And then after that is Middletown and Camp Hill. That's the Capital Division. In the Colonial Division, North York is on top. Waynesboro, Boiling Springs.
James Buchanan.
James Buchanan. Named after the only
president from Pennsylvania.
That's right.
That's
Look at this trivia we provide. Beautiful. James Buchanan. Wasn't he the bachelor president? Am I correct?
That is correct.
How about that?
His niece was the first lady.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. And then we have Green, what is it? Green?
It's Greensboro. Greencastle Antrim, right.
Greencastle Antrim on the bottom there. Cumberland Valley in the Commonwealth Division is the 2nd best team probably in the entire conference. 18-1 I have them at. Overall 12-0 in the league. Central Dauphin, State College, Carlisle, and Cedar Cliff fill out the top 5 there. In Keystone Division, Mechanicsburg, Lower Dauphin, Palmyra, Hershey, and Mifflin City, I believe it's Mifflin County. Mifflin County. I keep
I'm
saying
not sure on that one.
I think it's county, but I know a guy who went there. But anyway, so the way they work it out in the Mid-Penn, Steve and Joe, and you might be aware, they play a conference championship before they do anything else. So they take the top teams, East Pennsboro, North York, Cumberland Valley, Mechanicsburg, and they play it out, and they have a conference championship. So they have 2 semifinal games and a final. It's over very quickly. And in the first semi, we had East Pennsboro beating Mechanicsburg 3-0, and we had Cumberland Valley taking North York to task 4-0. And the final is being played, I believe, right now.
East Pennsboro versus
Cumberland Valley. Should be Cumberland Valley versus East Pennsboro.
East Pennsboro just came away with the win.
So it's over.
Yes, 2-1 in double overtime.
Look at this information we're getting here. Oh, that's right. Here we have
or in overtime.
Oh,
that's what our producer just sent us.
Producer handed me here. Yeah. Double overtime. 2-1. Cassie Brown. I've heard that name all season. So Cassie Brown scored the golden goal, Joe.
Wow.
Yeah. So she took it double overtime. Do you know how tired they have to be at the end of that? I mean, they're 10-minute overtimes at this point, or 15? I think they're 10s.
10.
They're 10s until they get into the districts, then they go to 15-minute overtimes. Right. There's no penalty kicks, so although this one would have had to go to penalty kicks.
Well, if it's a conference championship, very well could be.
Well, in any event, East Pennsboro, which has been a great team all season, we've been talking about them for a long time, they've been unscored upon, are the conference champions for the girls.
Yes, they are.
Thank you, Mr. Producer.
And now we're going to move on to the District 3 power rankings on the boys' side.
Here we go.
Some strong play out in District 3 from the boys. What do you got for me?
So it's single A, Joe.
Single A, we have Camp Hill. They're undefeated at 18-0. The Lancaster Country Day School. I actually covered a basketball game there one time.
That's an interesting
They're number 2, Greenwood. Number 3, Millersburg, number 4, and Fairfield, number 5.
Right. Now, Fairfield's out of the York Adams League. And the league I couldn't remember before is the Berks County League. That's the one that surrounds Reading.
Right.
Berks County, you have the York Adams, you have the Lancaster-Lebanon League, and of course the Mid-Penn, which we've been covering all year. And then there's the Tri-Valley League and a couple of Christian Academy type leagues. So that's what makes up District 3.
Okay.
You want to take 2A?
Sure, 2A, we have Lancaster Mennonite, Ole Valley, Wyomissing, which is right outside of Reading. They're 14-4.
That's Berks County.
Tulpehocken, 13-3-2, and Biglerville.
Biglerville.
Which also has a very fine football program, but They're number 5 at 13-3-1.
And number 6 is
Middletown.
my favorite school.
There you go. Why is that?
My brother was the head coach.
There you go.
And my brother actually corrected my pronunciation I was saying Tuppelhocken, I guess, and he says, no, it's Tupelhocken.
Really?
Well, you know, they
The
say,
L is silent?
they say things differently out there. So I don't know. I mean, they have all kinds of funny ways of saying things. But anyway, so Middletown's number 6 in the 2A. We're going to cover something on Middletown in just a moment. It's very interesting what happened at the end of a game for them. In the 3A?
3A, we have Lower Dolphin is
The great
15-2-1.
Yeah.
Number 2, Susquehannock. My daughter happens to work there
At Susquehannock?
at the color guard.
Does she really?
Color guard instructor. 17-1. Greencastle Antrim is number 3.
Right.
Hershey number 4, and Gettysburg at number 5.
And then Lampeter Strasburg,
Lampeter Strasburg,
which is another one I was mispronouncing, and my brother corrected
home of the
me.
Strasburg Railroad.
Yeah. Is that right? I was saying Lampeter, but it's Lampeter.
Lampeter.
Lampeter, they're number 6. And then, of course, the big boys. Well, by the way, Lower Dauphin is great. Defending state champions. And,
Yep.
I mean,
Always
undefeated
a
last
good
year,
program.
and you know they're 3A level. But now moving on to the big boys, we have Central York.
Central York at number 1. They're 17-1. Elizabethtown 14-2-1.
Yeah.
Hempfield, always a good program, 14-3. Wilson West Lawn 14-2-1.
That's right.
And Ephrata,
You said that correctly.
not Ephrata.
I've been checking all these
Ephrata.
pronunciations. It is Ephrata.
When you've been around as long as I
That's
have,
right,
you
Joe.
pick some things up, you know.
Ephrata.
Ephrata's 14-3.
And then
Central
East.
Dauphin East,
Yeah.
14-1-3. And then you got Chambersburg, Warwick, Cumberland Valley, and Manheim Township.
Manheim Township. Central Dauphin East is a team that beat Lower Dauphin earlier in the season, and then Lower Dauphin came back and revenged that game, if I remember correctly. Did I get that right, Steve?
I think you got that right.
I have that correct. So we're gonna talk. The games end October 24th. Mid-Penn ends this week, I guess. All the games end. I don't know. It's confusing because the leagues have different endings.
Right.
But anyway, so we're going to move on to the conference, correct? Mid-Penn
Right.
Conference. I
Mid-Penn
think, boys?
Conference. Yes.
Okay. What would you like to know about them?
Just give me the top 2 teams in each division.
Okay. So there's 4 divisions in the Mid-Penn. Capital Division, Camp Hill up on top, Middletown right behind them. Middletown having a great season. That's the capital. Okay. Colonial, Greencastle Antrim, I believe, just jumped above Waynesboro. I think I got that right. And in the Commonwealth, State College, Chambersburg, top 2. And then Keystone is Lower Dauphin and CD East. We just talked about them a moment ago. So in the conference championship, we had Lower Dauphin over Camp Hill. And that is the first loss for Camp Hill. We had them undefeated previously, but 3-0 is the first loss of the season for Camp Hill. And Lower Dauphin is killing.
Yep.
Again.
Always.
Coming on strong at the end of the season.
Always. I mean, they're looking strong for the state tournament,
That's right.
getting ready.
Now the State College beat GC Antrim 1-0. So that was Greencastle Antrim was on top of the Colonial. They lost in the semifinal to State College, and the final is Lower Dauphin versus State College, which is right now.
Yeah. Well, we're going to move on to the public league girls.
We do want to cover, there's a video we want to cover for Middletown that was sent to us by the coaching staff there. And Middletown was in a game over Susquehanna. They ended up winning that game 2-1. Yep. So we have a very interesting video of a young man named David Alcock. His father used to be the assistant coach there. Scored in the 77th minute. He has 14 goals this season, 8 with his head. And if we can roll the video, Mr. Director, I think you'll see him score with his heel, pretty much laying flat on his face. So here's the video, and look at that shot. Now we're going to show that in slow motion if we can get it. Look at this.
It is unbelievable.
It is a great goal.
That takes a lot of coordination to get that back heel on the ball.
It really does.
That was very impressive.
Yes, it was.
I previously said we're going to the public league girls, but actually we're going to take a quick break here. We'll be back with In the Goal.
Hi, I'm Tommy Green, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. When I was in high school, it was very important to me to show scouts what I could do. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you're a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY-EASY.
Welcome back here on In the Goal, and we're going to jump right back into the action, starting with the Public League girls.
Okay, so we want to talk about Pub Girls, and that's the City of Philadelphia, District 12. And it's been the tournament has been seeded, and some of the games have been played already. Central, right up on top, there was supposed to play Prep Charter. Prep Charter was eliminated by forfeits. They just basically dropped out of the league.
Really?
Yeah, they couldn't play anymore. So Central would have destroyed them anyway, but Central gets the bye in that case. So the quarterfinals should be set now, I believe. No, we still have some first round games coming out of the Public League. So the seeds are as follows: Central, FTC, Franklin Charter, PAX, which is the Philadelphia Academy Charter High School, Masterman, Northeast, Furness. They're all coming out of the Independence Division, the top division. The second division is the Liberty Division. They do it a little differently than everybody, and there's 5 teams that come out of there. Girls High School,
Wow.
undefeated for the first time in their history.
Yeah.
Wow.
My mother went there.
Really?
My mother is the archivist there. Still working. Anyway, Bodine, so she's all excited about that. Bodine, Olney, E&S, Academy Rush. There's only 2 undefeated teams in this league, Central and Girls High. The 2 shining stars of education, by the way.
Really?
Very good schools, academically, yeah. And then coming down to the bottom national division, there's 4 teams that come out of there. Kensington String Theory, which is one of the great names of a high school ever.
Yep.
Right, Joe? We know them. Frankfurt, which is, I believe you still work there, right?
Yeah, I still work there.
Right, and SLA actually jumped in there over their brother school, SLA Bieber.
Correct.
So SLA Bieber was in there, and SLA at the last minute got in there. So the first round, Central gets the bye. Bodine plays Olney. Rush at GHS, Girls High School, which is probably the biggest game ever in girls high school history. String Theory at PAX, Frankfurt at Masterman, Kensington at Northeast, E&S at Furness, and SLA at FTC. And that's how they're going to work. And then there'll be a quarterfinal, a semifinal, and a championship. And that's it for the Public League. Last team standing in each class goes to a championship game against the Catholic League.
Right.
And that's the way it works.
Yep.
Very interesting. I mean, I love the Public League, and I hope they do well. The chairman there, Brendan Hirsch, has been very helpful in giving me information all season.
Great information. We're going to move on to the Boys Public League now. It doesn't look like we have quite as much.
Not as much information, no. But we were able to ascertain who plays in the quarterfinals, and they are being played right now.
Yeah.
One was played at 3, one was played at 5. Another one's probably in the first half right now. So the first game was Southern versus FTC, that's Franklin Charter. PAX versus Central, and Washington versus Masterman. The 4th quarterfinal will be played tomorrow, and that's FLC, Franklin Learning Center, versus Northeast at the Northeast Super Site. The first 3 games will be played at the Germantown Super Site, and of course they'll move into the semis and the finals. And again, the classification winner will play the counterpart of the Catholic League,
Right.
and only one of those gets out to go to the States.
Really?
Correct.
Yeah, which is means a lot.
Yeah.
So it's a big opportunity. Northeast is a favorite there, but Central beat Northeast 1-0.
Yeah.
For Northeast's only loss of the season.
Wow.
Well, you've been mentioning the Catholic League a little bit, talking about the Public League. Let's talk about the Catholic League. We're going to start with the girls' side. Archbishop Ryan, Lansdale Catholic, same record. Ryan was given the first place in the conference.
Right.
St. Hubert's is number 3. Wood is 4. O'Hara is 5. Conwell Egan is 6.
Right.
Archbishop Carroll's 7. And Little Flower is 8. And that rounds out your tournament, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, Hallahan and Bonner and Prendy were in there also.
Oh,
Yeah, they were in there.
Devitt and Newman Goretti
No,
were the
no,
only
no.
teams that did not
That's
qualify.
right. The bottom 2 teams do not make it. Then there's a first round where the 4 teams on the bottom, 8, 9, I guess it's 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Right, Hallahan.
Did I get that right, Joe?
Yeah.
And then what were the results of that? I think you have that.
Well, Archbishop Carroll won their game, and Hallahan won their game. So they ended up playing. Hallahan is playing Archbishop Ryan as we speak,
Right.
in a quarterfinal game.
Oh, okay, right. That's right. that's
Archbishop
today.
Wood knocked off Cardinal O'Hara 3-0 today, which is a game that I covered.
That's right.
And St. Hubert's was upset by Conwell Egan, the number 6 seed, 2-0. So
That's a big surprise.
So Lansdale Catholic, if they win, gets to look forward to, or will play Conwell Egan.
well, that is the way it's on the website right now. That could possibly
That could
change.
That's right.
You know, and would probably play Archbishop Ryan if
Yep.
that were the case.
Yep.
That will be a double header at the United German Hungarian Club in Oakford on
right.
Tuesday. First game's at 5 o'clock. Second game's at 7:30.
Put that down there. 5 o'clock and 7:30. Okay.
And the championship will be on October 29th at Northeast High.
At the Super Site.
At the Super Site at 1 p.m.
Okay.
Well, we're going to move on.
Those are good games to look forward to.
Yeah, good games to look forward to. And we're going to move on to the boys PCL. LaSalle College takes first place, 31 points, 10-0-1. Roman right behind them, 10-1. Archbishop Wood, 9-2. St. Joe's Prep, 5-3-3. Archbishop Ryan right behind them, 5-4-2. Father Judge, 4-6-1. Bonner Prendy, 4-6-1. Lansdale Catholic, 3-5-3. Archbishop Carroll, 4-7. And Cardinal O'Hara, 2-7-2. Rounds out the top 10 into the playoffs. Last week we were talking with Ryan, the head coach of Archbishop Ryan, and he was really hoping that they'd get a home game against Prep, and they were unable to do that. Prep was able to get ahead of them in the standings, so the game will be at Prep. Would have been awesome for Archbishop Ryan to get that home game, but good for Prep taking the lead there.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, all season we've been talking to our friend Ryan, and all season he's been saying his goal was to get a home playoff.
Right.
He was close.
Very close.
Couldn't get much closer. Well, they're going to be playing St. Joe Prep
Yeah.
tomorrow.
And what should be a great
And
game.
that's why Ryan isn't here, I would assume,
Yeah.
because he's prepping his team
Oh, I mean,
for
you-
St. Joe Prep.
For the Prep.
For the Prep, which they lost to earlier in the season.
Yeah.
3-1, I believe it was, and that was a very good game.
I'm sure
So
next-
they have a chance of beating the Prep.
They do.
They have a chance. The, let's see, the 2 first-round games were O'Hara and Bonner Prendy, and that was an interesting game. It went 0-0, and it went to PKs. So O'Hara was the victor there, and Lansdale Catholic beat Carroll 3-2. So we moved to the quarterfinals. The quarterfinals are going to have O'Hara versus LaSalle, LC versus Roman, Judge versus Wood, and we mentioned Ryan versus SJP, St. Joe Prep. Those will be played at the higher seed, and then on 10/25, October 25th, you'll see the semifinals at UGH, United German Hungarians, and the final at the Northeast Super Site on the same day as the girls, I believe, 10/29.
Right.
And that's the way it goes for the PCL boys.
Yeah. We're chugging right along, and we're gonna jump right into the Central League here.
Okay.
Central League, Conestoga leading the way, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Very strong team, followed by Lower Marion.
Are you talking boys or girls now?
I'm on boys right now, but we can jump to girls, and you have the.
Let's go ladies first.
Yeah, we'll go ladies first. I just had it up wrong.
That's right. I won't give you a yellow card.
Okay. Appreciate that.
No cautions. Okay.
So
Conestoga girls are up on top. I mean, in both cases, Conestoga is leading the league.
yeah, Strathaven, I believe. No.
No, Pencrest is second. And
Pencrest-
the Pencrest ladies have only let up 4 goals all season.
Yeah.
The Lady Lions, that is.
My standings are not as up to date as yours, so give me the rest of them.
Okay, I mean, I took them off the website today, I think it was. Conestoga, Pencrest, Haverford, Harriton, Strathaven, Springfield, Lower Marion, Radnor, and then it drops off very quickly. At the bottom is Upper Darby, who have been winless all season. Again, Pencrest clinched a share of the title. They're 10-1 in league for Conestoga. I guess 10-1 also for Pencrest. I'm not sure exactly, but whatever it was, they clinched a share. The same girls have been scoring all year.
Right.
That's Carly, Barillas, Corin, Gamber, Juliana, George, it's their 12th shutout of the year, and they've basically been tearing it up.
Yeah,
Pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Pencrest Lady Lions.
So now we will move on to the boys' side, which
Yeah.
I have, I believe.
Yep.
And Conestoga leading the way.
And we've talked about them a lot.
Talked about them all year long. Lower Marion right behind them. Radnor in third, followed by Strathaven. And then Harriton. Take it away for the rest of the standings.
And then Haverford, Garnett Valley, Upper Darby, Marble Newtown, Pencrest, Springfield, and Ridley at the bottom.
Yep.
Also winless. Tough season for Ridley
you
there.
hate to see that.
Well, yeah, it's a tough competition in this league, to say the least. Stoga and Lower Marion played that big game Tuesday, I guess it was, and we've been looking forward to that game all season, but Conestoga walked away at 2-0, 2-0, and that was that. Radnor over Garnet Valley 2-1. Harriton over Pencrest 5-0, and then today at 4 p.m. we mentioned it earlier that CB South is coming in to play Stoga for an out of league game, and that's the end of the season.
Yeah.
And everybody moves to the District 1 playoffs after that.
Yeah. Well, that about wraps up our individual conference and district conversation. Now we're going to look at the state as a whole, and we're going to start with the girls' large school teams. And this is from the PSCA, the Pennsylvania Coaches Poll. And Parkland leading the way, 11, or at first. They were third last week, and they've jumped up to first.
Right.
Moon is second. Cumberland Valley third. Conestoga Valley fourth. Manheim Township fifth. CR South sixth. Norwin, who is slowly making their way back up the state rankings, is seventh. East Pennsboro eighth. Fleetwood ninth. And Villa Joseph Marie
Villa
is
Joe
10th.
Marie from Lower Bucks County.
That's
your area,
Holland,
Joe.
PA.
That's right, Holland Road, isn't it?
Which one? Upper,
one of
lower,
those.
middle?
There's a whole bunch of them.
Holland
I know.
Road for any?
It's across from Council Rock South.
It is
I know
correct.
that. It's a very nice place. I used to be there for basketball and soccer. Always well coached, always drilled, and great fundamentals there. Well drilled. Number one is Parkland, and Parkland is also ranked nationally. We'll talk about them in just a minute.
We will.
Both the boys and the girls.
We're going to move on to the boys' large school rankings from the PSCA. Conestoga, as we expected, leading the way. Peters Township, number 2. Parkland, third in the state for boys. Holy Ghost Prep is fourth. Lower Dauphin is fifth. They're fifth. LaSalle is sixth. Northwestern Lehigh is seventh. Erie Cathedral Prep, eighth. Lower Marion, ninth. And Central York is rounding out the top 10.
And you keep hearing the same names over and over again, week after week. And also, when we talk about the different districts and we talk about the different great leagues in the state, you're seeing those teams at the top of these Pennsylvania State Coaches Association rankings. And then there we have it right there. The best teams are coming out of mostly in this area. You're seeing some there's LaSalle from District 12, Parkland, of course, District 11, Ephrata, District 3, Holy Ghost, District 1, and so on, Lower Dauphin, District 3. So most of them are coming, again, in the southeastern part of the state and in the central section of the state, also central District 3, that is. Those are your large schools.
Those are our large schools. And now we're going to move on to the Fab 50 poll from Top Drawer Soccer. And Parkland, highest ranked Pennsylvania team at number 21 in the nation, have an impressive season so far. What other Pennsylvania schools around are in the Fab 50?
Yeah, we had a little jump for Cumberland Valley. They've gone from 36th to 28th to 27th, now ranked 23rd. Cumberland Valley out of Mechanicsburg, PA. We mentioned Parkland. They stayed at 21. So we have Council Rock South also being recognized, and this is top 50 in the nation.
Yeah.
So they've moved also. They started at not rated to 31 to 28 to 27. Episcopal, which is we've mentioned before, is part of the Interact League, so they're not part of the PIAA. They are now number 30 in the nation. Conestoga Ladies went down, actually. They're not rated this week. They were 37th last week, I think it was, or 2 weeks ago. And Moon, Pennsylvania.
Moon area.
The Moon area, right next to Mars.
Right outside of Pittsburgh.
Right next to Mars, I believe.
I think you're...
I think so, yeah. They're number 25 in the nation.
Yep.
The Moonies. And Pennsbury is number 28 in the nation.
Right.
They went from not rated in the last 3 weeks to 28th in the nation. So Pennsbury, which again, when I used to ref, Pennsbury was really good.
They are very
Girls
good.
soccer was always really top shelf, as we say, which is the top shelf Fab 50 right here.
Yeah.
And we should move on to the boys.
We are.
St. Benedict's has not moved. They're still number one.
Right.
They've been number one for a while.
Yep.
Our friends at Conestoga are number 3 once again.
Yep.
Number 2 is Whitefish Bay, which we don't know anything about. It's in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other one, let's see, in this area is Parkland. We mentioned boys and girls, excellent.
Yeah.
They've
Wow.
jumped from 19 to 12 to 9.
Yep.
But they started out at 27th 4 weeks ago. So they keep moving up. Parkland, I would love to see one of their games this year. Peters Township, which is out in District 7. I think we had a little mix-up last week between 6 and 7. They are District 7. So they've jumped from 23rd, 21st, 14th to 11th. And Holy Ghost jumping in at 38.
Lower
We'll talk about
Marion
Holy
is
Ghost previously.
39th also.
Is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
they are. Well,
Yeah, I
we-
see that now.
Yep.
Yeah.
We-
Lower Marion's 39th.
Yeah.
And they weren't ranked at all.
No, they are. I mean, they've had a strong season. We talked
Well,
about them in the
yeah.
last couple of weeks.
They lost to Conestoga, but they're still very good.
I mean, when you lose to the number 3
Yeah.
team in the nation, you shouldn't
right.
take too much of a hit.
The
But
Lower
we're-
Marion Aces.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break before we go over our final thoughts and wrap up. Stay tuned here on In the Goal.
Pennsylvania is a big state, and there's great high school football action happening each week to discuss.
Let's deep. Got a man. Touchdown.
Join me, Richie Bleiweiss, and my fellow analysts, Corey Sharp and Mike Palmer, on In the Trenches on the Sports Fan Base Network. In the Trenches, the only show dedicated to all 12 PIAA districts in Pennsylvania, coming to you every Monday live on Facebook. Tune in for information, stats, analysis, and some great previews and predictions. Be sure to submit questions and comments using hashtag #InTheTrenches or comment live during the show. So be sure to watch In the Trenches on the SFBN for all you need to know about high school football in the Keystone State. I'm Richie Bleiweiss, reminding you, stay classy and be good to each other.
Hi, I'm Marty Bystrom, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. In my experience in Major League Baseball, I know how important it is for high school athletes to gain exposure. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you are a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY-EASY.
Welcome back here on In the Goal. We're just going to wrap up our show with some final thoughts. Kapp, what are you thinking right now?
Well, I'm looking forward to a really exciting week of playoff soccer. This is what it all builds up to and what we're all gearing our season for, and it's just so much fun, and really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Joe, what about you?
Well, just dovetailing off of what Kapp's talking about with the playoffs. We went through the power rankings, and they were up to date as of this morning.
By the hour.
The final rankings are final on Sunday, so they'll have the seeding meeting. I believe it's out of Conestoga, perhaps, and those things can change. Somebody's in, somebody's out, and then on Tuesday things get started. And forecast is for rain, but hopefully that'll hold off.
Last week we went over how they calculate some of these power rankings, and it's quite intricate. It's very complex. But looking forward to next week. And as my friend Richie Bleiweiss says at the end of his show, stay classy and don't get any of these.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Or, well, for that matter,
I mean, that's just a
definitely
warning.
don't get one of these.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Joe, thank you for joining us here
My
again.
pleasure.
We love having you on the show. We'd love to continue to have you on the show. Jack, I mean, we've had a great run so far. Throughout. Well, thank you for tuning in here on In the Goal. Just a couple reminders. You can catch us on iTunes as a podcast. Catch all our shows as a podcast. Speaking of all our shows, we got In the Trenches Monday and Varsity Voices on Wednesday. Two great shows. Richie Bleiweiss doing a great job hosting In the Trenches, and of course, Ari Bluestein hosting Varsity Voice. Also, check out our website, the SFBN.com, to check out some news articles, photos, pretty much everything you need to know, available on the SFBN.com. Thank you for joining me here tonight on another wonderful episode of In the Goal. Have a great night, guys, and stay tuned next week.